Beer, Blood in the Bayou contains adult language, graphic descriptions of delicious hop treats, and real crimes perpetrated in and around the greater Houston metropolitan area. Viewer discretion is advised. Bitches.
Sorry, what are you guys talking about?
Talking about business coaches.
Oh.
Or were you just trying to do a test run here?
Well, I just want to see where you guys' head's at. I want to make sure that everybody's head is in the right place because
that's what she said.
Yeah, so basically just finish up all the sidebars and let's get down to business, okay?
Get to the fucking point.
Whoa, that is really, really aggressive.
I'll just email that story to him. It's not that important.
Okay, that's fine, yeah.
Yeah, it's very topical, very to the day. I don't know why.
Okay. Are we all done?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Are you done?
Okay, no, I'm fine.
Are we recording? I didn't see the red light come on.
The red light is broken, is not working. So
I see the on-air sign. Wait, no, that's not on air. That is something else.
Yeah, okay. So welcome to Beer, Blood in the Bayou, episode 2. The show that asks, why are you wearing all that Patagonia?
No,
that's a good question.
Didn't you get a cease and desist?
I did, actually. That's a very...
What is he talking about?
Yeah, you didn't know about this? Oh, yeah. I fear no beer, so I make some shirts, and I thought I told you. I guess not. So I make these shirts. They're like parody, basically. It's Patagonia shirt.
Oh, I thought you were making like...
You ripped them off.
Well, no, I did. So, yeah, so it looks like the Patagonia mountains. It looks like...
Same color, same design, same font, size, same font.
But instead I just put conformity instead of Patagonia. So
like you sell these, or are you like...
Yeah, I sold them. And then so the site that I was selling them on, the lawyer got a cease and desist and sent it to me and said I have to stop selling. But good for Patagonia really having their eyes out there to see when people are infringing. That was a parody fair use all day, every day. I think it would have held up in court. I am not a lawyer.
Somebody Googled some legal words.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
It's not uncommon. That actually happened to me in college. Right when the iPhone came out, actually, I guess it was after college, I had just finished my prototype, but it was a pager, and it had a touchscreen on it, and I got the same notification from Apple.
I have no less than 3 things that I swear I came up with, could have put together the prototype for it and submitted for a patent that I have seen other people invent.
Okay.
Have you ever thought of something, then you Google it, you're like, I'm the first person that's thought of this, and then you Google it, and there's like a website just for the thing you thought of? I've had that happen a couple times.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw I think it was a commercial, or maybe it was inside of a movie. I don't really remember, but a dating website called Haters, and you sync people up based on what they hate. God,
that is very interesting.
I love things that I hate.
Huh.
So what happened? They just told you to stop doing it?
Yeah. So they basically told me you need to stop selling, or we'll take you to court. And I not only did I stop selling, but I took down my entire shirt store. I lit my clothes on fire.
They shut you down.
Yeah, and then I huddled.
Big business shut you down
into a bathtub naked, crying game style. So,
wow.
Speaking of other inventions that I swear I invented, but saw someone else invent. A table with its own built-in air conditioning for outside. Saw it on that Tillman Fertitta show.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, and Sonos. I swear to God, I came up with the idea for Sonos.
Wow.
Different.
Like
radio.
In '92? That's like when it came out.
No, Sonos radio, where the different radio stations in each of your rooms, basically.
Yeah.
Radio. Yeah, no. That was relatively new, where you have separate radio stations in each room. Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So anyhow, back to the So Ralph Sweetwater, I fear no peer. To my left is the insufferable cuddle champion of the Western Hemisphere.
Mm-hmm. 2 years in a row.
Mr. Josh James.
Hello.
Say hello.
I did.
And okay. And then right across from me, the former ex-citizen of Castle Rock, the terrible train dodger, the king of the Keds, Mr. Back Harlow Road himself, Ray Brower.
Hey, thanks for having me, everybody. It's me, Ray Brower, Ray. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. You can find me on Facebook at Ray Brower. Amazingly, no one else has that. As well as Instagram, soon to be, by the time this podcast comes out, I'll have Instagram page at Ray Brower, I'm sure.
Why does he get such a good introduction and mine's just really boring?
I ran out of time, so anyhow, format's the same as last week. We talk about local beer. We have a story of crime and murder or betrayal. And then, of course, we talk about the Bayou, which is our favorite Bayou city. So, with that, we will be right back with this week's beer. We're back.
Back to the beer.
That's right.
Back in black.
I guess.
What is the new beer today? That's a very large can.
It is a large can. This is what the kids call a crowler. So basically, it's not a growler,
which is a glass jug.
Yeah, right.
Like a hillbilly band would blow into when they're playing music.
Right. So it is a can/growler. You put together and you get a
crowler.
Thank you. Yes, a crowler. That's right. Right. So yeah, this was delivered to me from the Hop Drop guys. So this is Texas Leaguer 643. It's a Belgian beer, 5% ABV. It's pretty tasty. So
that's pretty low ABV.
Yeah, it is. I mean, so a lot of the Belgians, you'll see like a double, triple, even quads, and they're a lot higher. Like your Merit Sues and your Chimay and stuff like that.
So let's talk Belgium for Drew here.
Yeah.
What would a mainstream Belgian beer taste like?
A mainstream Belgium.
Amstel? Is that Belgium?
I would say, and I hate promoting anything AB and Bev, but like a Hoegaarden. You ever had a Hoegaarden?
Oh, yeah.
No, that sounds...
That's a beer, by the way. He wasn't saying if you were...
Yeah, I wasn't talking about your ex-girlfriends or anything.
No. I've been to Hoegaardens.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, do explain.
They are places full of hoes.
Oh.
That's not funny.
No, they're not.
I think that when the creators of Hoegaarden, when they were making their beer for the very first time, they thought, yeah, that's what we want.
I doubt it.
God, this is so bad. Yeah. Anyhow.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Oh God, all of your iPhones.
iPhone's ruined, but
computer.
Hope this beer's good.
God, I'm really, really sorry. Can I have your glass, Mr. Joshua? Is this it? Oh, okay, cool.
Are you missing yours?
I don't have.
Because if you're going to drink out of that can and we're using these glasses, that's going to be disgusting.
Yeah, that is pretty gross.
I really don't want.
I must have forgot my glass in the other room.
You did.
You want to just cut my hands and you drink like a bird, baby bird?
Okay, here we go. So, oh shit. There you go.
I'm not going to share a glass either.
So you see that nice dark complexion, lots of head, very gaseous.
I thought you were talking about me, but yeah, let me look at. Oh, that is.
Yeah, Drew.
Are we on? Are we live?
We're live. Yeah,
great.
Yeah. And there you go. So
That's enough. That's enough.
Okay.
Baby
God
steps.
knows I'm gonna hate
let's don't fill his up all the way.
Yeah. Okay. So before
you fill me up.
Oh, shut up. Okay. So before we taste one, let me fill mine up real quick. Just want to do this all together. There we go. By the way, I am currently spilling beer everywhere.
I was wondering what this is.
Yeah.
You spilled some beer all over your Tandy 1000.
Okay. Anyhow, so let's raise the glass real quick. So let's look at the color. What do you guys see color wise?
It looks like tea with no ice in it.
There you go. That's a pretty good observation, Drew. Yeah. So it's like
It looks like melted iced tea.
There you go. So yeah. So it's a good orange hue, dark orange hue. Now let's give it
like Tetley.
Yeah.
It is.
So it's like
it was just one tea bag.
You guys remember the Tetley lady?
Oh yeah. I was a Lipton fan.
Tetley tea.
Yeah, Tetley. She made me want.
All right, here we go, guys.
All I know is stop. We're not tasting it yet. We're gonna smell it.
We got sidetracked on tea.
Smell it.
We should do a tea podcast.
So what do you smell? What do you guys smell?
It smells fruity.
Some spices, huh? Kind of fruity. Got those spices. a little bit of coriander, a little bit of that Belgian goodness. You smell that?
Like feet.
Like feet? Shut up. It does not smell like feet.
I like it better than the last one. I think it does smell.
It smells like your socks after being in new shoes all day.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. So I get fruit. I get spices. It smells really good. Okay, you guys ready? Cheers. Hold on. Cheers.
God.
Cheers.
Yeah, I guess so.
Already. Okay. Cheers. All right.
Let's do it.
What do you think?
It's good. I mean, I like it better than the IPA.
Yeah, I mean, it's not horrible. I don't
Not horrible.
It's okay. I'd drink it.
You drink it.
That's good. That's
that's very good for Drew. Yeah. So we found a drinkable
It's
beer.
peer pressure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't order it.
Oh, really?
I'd drink it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, for those that have been listening to our podcast for a day,
I mean, the last episode, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that is a
And
good
guys,
thing.
don't forget, there will never be a paywall for that back catalog.
Yeah, so Drew, he is somewhat of a connoisseur. 17 beers in his full catalog.
I like both Corona and Corona Light.
Okay, yeah. So, anyhow, so it's a really good example of.
Hey, I got a question. So,
yeah.
Say you're at a bar. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to name names to promote bars, but you're at a mainly craft beer bar, and you get a beer, and you take a drink, and you're like, I'm just going to ask for a lime. Would that piss everyone off? Would you look at Jackass?
That's a machete to the face right there.
I mean, serious. Is that like
you
something you don't
absolutely, yeah. I mean, any sort of like fruit accoutrements.
It's like ordering ketchup at a steakhouse?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's basically, you might as well just slap everybody in the face. And
I didn't think it would be.
You don't want any sort of garnishes. You just basically want to drink the beer as served to you.
And if you start dry heaving or just straight up throw up, it's definitely
it's not good.
Well, I'll say this is Brower approved.
Brower approved.
Wow.
That's good. So, Drew, on a scale from 1 to 5, what do you give it?
Wow, he only gave you 5.
1 to 5.
But 5 being Bud Light, 1 being not Bud Light.
I don't understand.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that.
We'll do 1 to 10, and I'd say.
No, actually, I don't want to rate beers.
Okay, don't rate beers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old Amy Schumer rule.
What's that? What's the old Amy Schumer rule?
Did you hear about what happened to Amy Schumer?
No. What's that?
When she released a comedy special on Netflix, it got ridiculously horrible ratings, and she blamed the alt-right, and it was really just everyone giving it horrible ratings because it sucked.
Interesting.
So Netflix removed the rating system on their shows.
Really? Just for
I
that?
have noticed that lately.
Yeah, it's because of Amy Schumer.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, and you know she's a joke thief, right?
Yeah, I know she's a hack.
Yeah, she owes Patrice O'Neal's estate millions.
Wow, interesting. Anyhow, so again, this is 643 Belgian Pale Ale from Texas Leaguer, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.
What part of town or
so
state?
These guys, so the brewery, they just opened up in Missouri City. It's a brand new brewery, so it's way down south.
And for those listening to us in Australia, that's not Missouri, the state. There's actually a city named Missouri City next to Texas.
Yeah. G'day.
Yeah. So there's a small city south called Missouri City. So they're actually making some really good beers. They've had some. They're showing up in a lot of different bars in and around the inner loop, and making some good stuff. So I just figured I would bring this beer to your guys' attention.
I like it.
How much longer can this last?
I don't know. Okay, so that's it. So with that, we will switch gears, go over to our blood section with Mr. Joshua James.
The best part.
When we return.
All right, now for the good part, the blood section. This is going to be, unfortunately, an unsolved murder in Houston. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It was in 1990. I mean, where were you in 1990?
1990, I was 10 years old.
I was living off of 1960.
Ooh, I was living in Copperfield, not too far away.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah,
well that's
good old Copperfield.
I was way on the other side of the tracks, the 8 miles.
Oh,
sorry.
that's right.
Quick question: Did you ever ride your bike down 1960, like Highway 6?
I made it. No, I made it all the way from
Are you kidding me?
45 to Kirkendall.
Oh, really?
That's like crazy. Why would you even?
Oh no, it was something that we just used to challenge each other to do. And it was,
friends of mine.
What are you like in a BMX club for Brad Magazine or what?
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
One time, some friends of mine stole a John boat and put in Cypress Creek or Spring Creek.
Yeah.
At 45 and 1960, and then floated that river or whatever that sewage runoff
is. That really a river? Yeah, I was about to say.
I don't know.
That's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
That's like,
we in the John boat, and all we had was sticks, no oars.
Whoa, Huckleberry Finn!
And we made it all the way to Stubner Airline.
Yeah, wow.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and we had to shimmy down the sheer wall face all the way.
And there were no cabs in that area. Damn sure no Uber.
This was during Bush administration, the first Bush.
Wait, Bush 1 or Bush 2?
Bush 1.
Bush 1, that's right. Then this aggression will not stand. You know what's really funny about the bayous in this city is that when I was a kid...
And by the way, this is not part of the murder.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah,
but
right.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, quick sidebar. We bought a casting net from Academy. We went down to the bayou. We would throw it in, and we would actually catch fish, like full-size fish. And then I would take them home.
As opposed to like minnows? I don't...
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, opposed to like what you think you would find in the
Who is we? Like your parents?
No,
like we got to eat tonight, so we're going to go fishing?
Me and my friends, like we took a casting net. We would go down to the bayou. We would throw it out, and we would catch actual live fish. So then when we brought it back to the house, the parents would be like, "Oh, that's great. You caught the fish." I was like, "Hey, we should eat it for dinner tonight. We all like the fish." And the parents would basically be like, I don't like re-eating my own shit. So we didn't.
That's when you found out how it worked.
Yeah. So and then it all kind of made sense. Like, I never really understood where poo went, but now I know. So
it's...
there's not exactly a direct line, but yeah, bottom feeders are pretty disgusting.
Yeah, but no, there's like runoff though, right? I mean, I know there's runoff from like all the sewers.
Well, I don't think that people's PVC pipes are directly dumping into the bayou.
That's I mean, you don't
flush your toilet and it's just toilet paper coming out.
Okay, I mean,
into the bayou.
We're getting into logistics here, okay? But my point is, I'm sure a little bit of shit gets in there. So if you eat the fish, you're gonna get a little bit of shit in your mouth, mostly human, I would imagine.
Not to be even more sidetracked, but in college we had to go to the water treatment plant in Huntsville, and probably shouldn't let this out, but they took us to where the water started before it was purified to what you actually drank.
What?
And exactly. So there were these big tanks.
Yeah.
And the water that came in, it looked pretty bad. There was actually a condom floating in it. Can't make that up. But it goes through these different stages, and by the end, it's like this. They may have given us like Dixie cups to like try it out or something. I don't remember, but it was just like crystal clear water at the very end.
Wow.
It's crazy how that works, but
yeah. So they just filtered everything out.
Yeah, I mean,
and then
you could probably put the condom in there if you wanted to like a garnish, but
yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's crazy how that works. But
wow,
you watched the whole process.
Did you save it? Did you save the condom?
Yeah, it was mine. I was I hooked up with the person giving us the tour.
Okay. Oh my god. Okay.
Anyway, back to crime. All that for 1990.
Okay, so let's start again. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, so it was in 1990. Mm-hmm. I don't remember this actually happening, but it's pretty big news, and it's now been called one of the top 10 unsolved mysteries or murders in Houston of all time.
Oh, really?
And it was coined the name the Lover's Lane murders, which seems kind of cliche.
Yeah.
But
Lover's Lane, tell me about that.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds interesting. Sorry, real quick. And can
I have some more beer while we're doing this?
Yeah,
I feel like you're over there just drinking
it's cool.
in front of us.
So here's what I never really understood. It's like, you want to go out, you want to make out with your girlfriend. Maybe you want to have some, do some heavy petting. And you go out in the middle of nowhere. And shouldn't you expect to get killed? No offense. I mean,
no. Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of cases where this has happened.
I mean, this shit's been going on for hundreds of years.
Well, look at the not to sidetrack, but the Zodiac killer was a good example.
Exactly. I mean, this is nothing that's fucking new. I mean,
no.
You go out to the middle of nowhere to rub one on with your loved one. You're running a risk of dying. I mean,
well, I don't know.
I mean, as a 16-year-old kid, though, you also have to ask. I mean, yeah, that hand job, it may be worth a bullet. So I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, there is nothing like an aggressive hand job from a grown man. Am I right?
You're right. I mean, a machete to the face or a little bit of pull action. I mean, what do you really want? I totally get where these kids are coming from, but I don't know. As an adult, I reflect back and I think about this stuff, and I hope my children don't make the same mistakes.
When I was growing up in those crucial early years, my neighborhood was under construction, so we found a lot of houses under construction to defile. Oh man.
Okay, so anyhow.
So you were really wealthy.
Anyhow, so yeah,
home.
I just hope that my kids, they don't make the same mistake. Anyhow,
well, to be clear, this area, it's when I picture like a Lover's Lane or something, I'm picturing like this scenic place. Obviously in Houston, there are few and far between of those. Yeah. And you picture like going up in the hills and there's trees and it's romantic.
Like LA.
Right.
Like we're all conditioned to think that everybody lives in LA.
This was not the case.
Or New York.
This was out west and off I-10.
Okay.
Near Gessner. And if you Google map the location now, the cul-de-sac in West Houston, and we'll put it in the show notes where the location is. But if you Google map it, it's just a bunch of high-rises now. Like I think it may be Exxon or something or something like that. It's crazy.
Gessner I-10?
Right.
Basically?
So exactly. So what I did, and I'll also put this in the show notes too, a link to this, but I'm not bragging, but I dabbled in a little metal detecting a few years ago. And which I did.
You too?
I did it.
Wait! Metal detecting?
I did it strictly.
Hold on. The guy who with the headphones and they hold the thing and
yes, on a beach.
No shit.
I did it strictly to meet women, and I found out it was maybe like 80-year-old women everywhere. But it's whatever. You win some, you lose some. But I found some metal.
Dude, there's some really, really intense detecting groups.
Oh, I was in one.
They call MDs.
Oh yeah,
I'm on the MD Reddit group. You should see the shit they talk about.
I took someone with me on I was actually in a club, and the person was like, "I am never coming back here again," and I didn't even want to talk to me.
So anyhow, what does the metal detecting have to do with
So the reason I say all that is because this club I was in, they turned me on to this website, and what it is, and I'll link it, but it's a government website to where you can put in any address in the United States, and then on the left you can just sit there and click years like 1986, 1987, and the terrain will change as to what it was in that year. The Google map, technically.
No way.
Yeah, so I went to this location,
and
I kept going back and back and back because it's all high rises, and then what do you know? There's some trees and a forest and a tree line.
It's all woods.
And there's a cul-de-sac.
Oh my god.
So what it was is it was actually a cul-de-sac of an undeveloped area of Houston at the time that people would go to. And just make out and whatever. It wasn't like, like I said, a scenic place. It was just something. That's why this was coined the name Lover's Lane. So what happened was 22-year-old Cheryl Henry and 21-year-old Andy Atkins were both in town for the summer. And
college students.
So Cheryl was currently attending Stephen F. Austin, our big rival, big rival of our college.
Eat 'em up, cats.
And so they were back in town, and there's a lot of, from what I've read on this, there are a lot of stories that went off on this that one or both of them worked at local strip clubs. That was actually not the case. Andy worked at Gold's Gym, and Cheryl was in town for the summer working just a job just to make some money to go back to Stephen F. Austin.
Where did she work?
I didn't find that. A lot of the stories, it took a while just to get to what the truth is on a lot of this stuff, or what people can actually confirm. But anyway, so it was August 21st, 1990. They were on a double date with Cheryl's younger sister, Shane, and they went to a popular hotspot called Bayou Mamas. Never heard of it.
Bayou Mamas,
You've heard of it?
Well, no, I never went. I mean, I was 10, but I remember hearing it like on KLOL or whatever.
Rock 101, KLOL.
Yeah. Really?
Dave, what's in Outlaw Dave?
Hey, everybody's Outlaw Dave coming at you.
Yeah, the good old days. Sorry.
I guess I don't remember that at all. But
I do Bayou Mamas,
Okay, well, it was off Westheimer.
Do you guys remember when the Crooked Ferret was a thing?
So it was off Westheimer and Gessner, which we all know those streets, pretty popular places. And they went their separate ways. And the next morning, people started realizing that Cheryl and Andy were nowhere to be found.
Oh, man, that sucks.
So the families reported them missing the next morning as soon as they started realizing something was up. And it wasn't until a security guard that was patrolling. A lot of people think it was a cop, but it wasn't a cop. It was a security guard that was patrolling the construction area in that abandoned, kind of desolate part of Houston, if you will. He found an abandoned car in the cul-de-sac at the 1300 block of Enclave Circle. Is actually, for those that are following.
Oh, Enclave. Okay, I know exactly what it is.
Yeah, 1300 block of Enclave Circle. Oh. And this is where it all kind of started to unfold. they didn't know what to expect, but the security guard obviously called the police to see what's going on. The police came out and ran the plates and realized that this was Andy Atkins' car.
Okay.
So that's what started the whole investigation. The keys were in the ignition.
Yeah.
In the auxiliary position, which is weird, as if music had been playing, which I guess you would do that at Lover's Lane. So nothing fishy about that.
Maybe like a mixtape.
It may have been. It may have been like...
did they check the deck? The tape deck?
I don't know. It could have been like the Top Gun soundtrack or something.
Definitely Depeche Mode.
Take my breath away.
Yeah.
If I can tell you the nickels I have from every time. No, I don't.
Well,
sorry, I think Depeche Mode, but go.
So
Sorry,
that's one thing.
So the keys were in the
ignition auxiliary position, so the battery, I guess, it went dead.
Yeah,
obviously overnight.
They're listening to Depeche Mode. Yeah.
Cheryl's shoes and purse were left behind the car. Okay. Another flag,
Yeah.
The security guard knew at that point this was not. It was a little bit more than an abandoned car, right. So he immediately notified the HPD, which are the big dogs. So
right.
he called in the
Don't mess around with HPD, folks.
Yeah, there's a good chance if you commit a crime, there's like a 1 in 20 they're going to catch you.
That's right.
Yeah, if you listened to last week.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary.
Yep.
So anyway, the cops showed up, and not far from the car there was a golf club, which was kind of random, and it was just pointing in a weird direction towards the woods. So kind of weird, but looking back, it kind of is really weird.
Yeah.
Well, they followed that to kind of just go towards the woods, and they found a golf ball. They go maybe 5-10 yards further, found another golf ball, as if it was pointing.
Arnold fucking Palmer.
Yeah. As if it was pointing in the direction of something, like it was staged, which was really weird. So they immediately called in the crime scene, or the detectives to come in, homicide detectives, and they also brought in the canine unit, and leave it to the canine unit. The dog immediately picked up a scent, and about 200 yards away from the vehicle, they found Cheryl Henry's body.
Oh, wow.
In the woods. And she had no clothing on her body.
Yeah.
It was later found in a pile nearby. They had been violently cut off her body, which is
really
awkward. But they assumed the knife that was used to cut the clothes off were the ones that were used to murder her, because she was stabbed. There was no signs of a gunshot or anything. And someone had tried to...
So she had stabbed...
Right. I guess more to that, too. But it was weird, too, is she was covered up with pieces of wood by a nearby fence. So when you hear stuff like that, you're like, well, maybe the person knew her and he only wanted to cover her face.
Yeah.
You hear a lot about that. Where
that's what I hear, yeah.
They cover them with a pillow or a blanket because they kind of feel a little remorse if they knew them.
Right.
She had been sexually assaulted before she was murdered.
Oh, man,
and her hands were tied behind her back with a hemp rope, which there's been a lot of people talking about that the significance of that. And it's kind of a rare...
Back then it's probably really unusual, right?
Yeah, it was very, very strange.
Yeah, because I know through the whole legalization movement, there's been a lot of, I guess a lot of push to use or manufacture other products that are made out of hemp. So
right. Well, it's always been up for, talks and the whole investigation as to where that came from. And something else that was weird were there were deflated balloons that were hanging on a branch.
Was this a clown killing?
And I don't know what to make of that. I don't even know if that's tied to it. I kind of think that's a little far-fetched that this was staged. They were comparing to like a Salvador Dali,
really?
The famous melted...
the melted... Yeah.
I used to have one of those next to my lava lamp in college, But...
It usually did the trick.
Yeah.
So wow. So, but they were deflated, so that means... And they found basically...
Yeah, I mean, they were like tied up that said like "Happy Birthday," and they were like fully inflated. I mean, this wasn't like a obvious party just happened there, but I mean,
that's really weird. Like, I mean, but they were tied. They were tied to the... No.
It was just like balloons that were deflated. From what I read, they were deflated, hanging off a branch nearby her body.
Yeah.
But I mean, that could have been from a balloon lift. Remember those before they outlawed the balloon lift in elementary schools?
That's right. Yeah, the balloon lift. Yeah.
Did you ever do that?
I have no idea what
you don't know what I'm talking about.
What's a balloon lift?
Josh, you are substantially older than the rest of us.
Well, let's be serious. So,
what is a balloon lift?
So
didn't want to.
No, I mean, think about
break the fourth wall.
I wasn't. I also was not going to say.
Are y'all being serious?
I have no idea what a fucking...
Was this like a country thing?
I have never.
Let me tell y'all about on a side note. Let me tell you about a balloon lift.
What's a balloon lift?
So what you did is you filled out this card, like an index card with like your name and your address, and I don't think your phone number, maybe your pager number back then. I don't know. It's like elementary school, and everyone goes out in the field, and you let your balloon go. It's a balloon lift, and then whoever note is found the furthest away gets like I don't know what you would get, high five or free ice cream or something.
Yeah.
But
Tickets to Fame City, maybe.
Yeah, but I think they ended up finding that the seagulls were eating the balloons and choking, which seagulls ruin a lot of stuff. They ruined Alka-Seltzers, didn't they?
Yeah, Well, no, I guess if you used to throw Alka-Seltzer to a bird or a seagull, supposedly
the 6-pack plastic things, aren't those outlawed too now? Or they cut them or something?
But not for the same thing. The seagulls, they were incapable of digesting those, and they would cause them to explode.
Do you think they realize
No,
how much...
No, because I tried to make these seagulls explode. It never actually happened. They just died.
Really?
I'm kidding. No, I didn't actually.
I tried it, but
I've been
serial
told.
Killer, red flag.
Sorry, but I have been told that they don't actually explode. They just
never have a cold.
They just
they always feel great.
They just fall out of the sky, and they were refreshed for the next day. Yeah.
I feel like they've ruined a lot of stuff for us, but I mean, I guess everyone likes to see a seagull every once in a while.
Anyhow, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So anyway, the balloons were one thing, and something else they found that was strange was they found a single $20 bill left lying in the open near her body, which this is where people started speculating that she was a stripper and they were a bad lap dance and it went wrong, and this is where a lot of speculation started coming up, and the detectives later found that it had honestly nothing they thought to do with the case, but it was still part of the investigation.
Okay.
Anyway, as the sun was falling fast. At this point, it was in the evening.
Yeah.
And Andy was nowhere to be found.
Oh, they still haven't found him.
No.
Right. Yeah,
so that's what I thought was weird too. So they actually put in the article I read that was actually kind of funny. It said that the Texas heat and humidity and mosquitoes were getting so bad that they decided to come back the next morning. Which,
oh my God,
I mean, that's just weird to me.
There's Houston for you.
I mean, mosquitoes are bad, but if you're working a crime scene, right?
I guess that was nice. Maybe just
it was weird.
Put in a little bit of extra effort, huh?
Right, exactly. So
it's just life and death, no big deal.
The next morning they came back, and it wasn't long until they found Henry's body as well, about 100 yards away. He'd been tied to a tree.
Sorry, real quick. The cops did leave. They left, and they came back over. Maybe the guy just or whoever killed them.
No, well, to be clear, they left, and I thought the same thing. They left back some security to kind of make sure nothing. Okay. They just were told to stop doing any more, walking around in the forest or anything like that. But anyway, about 100 yards away, Henry's body was found. His throat was slashed, and his back was tied against a tree. The cut on his neck was so deep that he was nearly decapitated.
Oh my God!
So you start thinking again, anger, killing. I mean, you're trying to kill someone. I would just stab them and call. It's decapitating. I mean, that's pretty serious anger. He was fully clothed, including his watch. No money had been taken.
Yeah.
So it certainly wasn't a robbery.
So it seems like the motive was sexually related.
Nicole Brown Simpson was almost decapitated.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And that was potentially an anger killing too. I guess we don't ever know. But
OJ did it.
OJ
Juice did it.
Well. Anyway, so
his DNA was in the car, for God's sake.
Something they made note to say in
if the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
He wrote a book called "If I Did It." I mean, if that's not the biggest rub, I don't know what is.
That is pretty bad. Anyway, so police also speculate that there's a really good chance that Henry heard what was happening to Cheryl in the distance. Like, he was killed second, so he was able to hear her being raped and killed, which is terrible.
That's horrible,
But essentially, after all this crime scene was taken into evidence, there was not really any leads, which is what's been weird because, again, this happened in 1990, a long time ago. I'm no math major, literally, but that's a lot of years.
Yeah, like 10 at least.
Right. DNA was left behind. There was a rape, obviously, involved. But
so the killer left his DNA.
However, I don't know if you remember this, but this was a big deal. Around 2001, 2002, there was a major problem with HPD and the DNA. Mm-hmm. There was DNA tampering or DNA.
That's right. They had the storage issues.
Right. So it was.
I heard police officers were coming to work with DNA all over their clothes.
Maybe they may have been in the room hanging out.
You were disgusting.
Yeah. So anyway, they due to the problems they were having HPD with finding any kind of DNA, or the DNA problems they were having in DNA labs, it really slowed down the process of finding anything or anyone, any kind of lead as far as what little DNA they had. the patrol officer that found him, they've chased that lead. It was nothing. He had nothing to do with it. There was a little bit of a sign of a struggle at the car leading to the woods, but nothing really came of that either. However, with no leads, something happened in 2001, March 2001. A letter.
You mean a break in the case?
Essentially.
A break in the case. Okay, good.
A letter was sent to HPD.
Oh, wow.
This person that wrote the letter was claiming to be involved in the case.
Mm-hmm.
It was postmarked from Houston.
Yeah.
And we'll post this for everyone to look at in the show notes if you want to take a look at it. But it simply read, if you want to know who killed C. Henry and A. Atkins, it will cost $100,000.
Oh, wow.
And it was told that the investigators, that they must reply in the Houston Chronicle by March 12th. So beginning of March, this happened in 2001. And March 12th was his deadline of 2001. And he also said, a lawyer will be hired to make sure you, just the letter U, play straight.
Wow.
The timing of the note was what's weird, too, because the murders, it was about a decade exactly after the murders took place. So that was they thought that was kind of fishy, too. But he left no intent of talking to the police or, you hear about these letters.
I would just think, though, that if you're going to write a note like that, even if you're a prankster, I mean, you would just have some sort of, you would have some sort of knowledge of the case, and you would be thinking about the case, and especially when the anniversary comes up, you would feel compelled to do that. Very, very
well,
strange.
a lot of times, too, killers inject themselves, as you may or may not know, into these crimes.
Right.
There's been several cases where you see that I've seen ones where videos of people are getting interviewed by the newscaster, and it's like their neighbor, and they're like, I don't know, I love my neighbor, and it was the killer, the whole time. For whatever reason, a lot of times they like injecting themselves into.
A lot of times killers will dress up as old guys who run amusement parks.
That is correct.
Only to be revealed at the very end by some crazy kids.
Stop, dude.
There's balloons, right? You said there were balloons. Could this be one of the amusement park?
It could be. So anyway, the lead detective, 2008, the lead detective Billy Belk, who actually was good friends with one of our good friends who we're going to be interviewing on the podcast, who we're not going to mention his name, but who was also a homicide detective in HPD, recently retired.
Yep.
Billy Belk was the lead investigator. He's since retired in 2008.
Yeah.
And he said it was the case basically that got away.
Never solved it.
Figured out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here to tell you, about 50 to 60% of them get away.
Well, that is true. So we probably need to note that
that's one of them.
It's kind of common. Okay, so something else came up in this case, and it was a 30-year-old exotic dancer who worked at Gigi's Cabaret. And in June of 1990, just months before the murder happened, she had been raped and lived to tell about it. Wow. And that they ended up matching that DNA with one of the killers. They think there may have been two.
No way.
That killed these two people.
Wow.
So now they have a connection. So she was able to give a description of the person. He did say when he was in the middle of the act, he said, "Where's Randy?" As if he knew
weird. Who's Randy?
Who Randy was.
Was that her boyfriend?
Her boyfriend's name was Randy.
No, so shit.
So he was like, "Where's Randy?"
Wow.
He had a pistol pointed at. He brought a gun this time. He was very vulgar. She thought he was wearing a uniform of some kind, which people started tying that back into maybe that was a security guard,
Oh, okay, the security
guard. So you can see where all
these
these stories go different rabbit holes.
Right.
Carnival barker.
So
probably not a carnival. Okay, so wow. So the DNA was tied. I guess they have what's it called? There's a name for the DNA system. It's like CODIS or something, right? Where they basically they run all the. No, never mind.
The database, yeah. So it was a match. Yeah. So this guy had obviously was in the system already.
Right.
But they were able to get a description from her, and she just said he was a white man around 6 foot tall in his mid-30s, and he was about 180 pounds.
Totally narrows it down. I mean, I don't know any white males.
Yeah. Olive skin, mustache, so people think he may have been Hispanic.
Yeah.
And there's not really much to go on, as far as information that I was able to find. past that, but there is a composite photo of
the guy,
this guy
really?
of the guy.
Oh wow!
But that's, I mean, so you can do the math. I mean, they're saying mid-30s, 1990.
Yeah.
You know how old he would be today? He'd still be alive. Whoever did this.
Yeah.
So you got to think there's some guy out there, probably still in Houston,
almost hitting the 60s.
probably ended up having a family, kids, maybe grandkids, and did this horrible act and just, has walked free.
I'd be curious to see how they matched them. I mean, maybe they just took various unsolved cases and just tried to compare the DNA across, to other ones just to see if there's any sort of matches. That's interesting that she lived and they didn't kill her. They didn't.
I know, and it was. I guess a lot of times when there's a crime like that happened, they get more and more angry and they think they can get away with more.
Yeah.
So it happened before these murders. So maybe this person was angry and did it again. This time he wanted to kill.
Wow.
But I mean, again, she was tied to a strip club as well. Annie's dad actually worked at a strip club.
Oh, Annie. Wow.
So there was a connection which confused people as well. And he's been kind of quiet since all this happened. The family of Cheryl has been very vocal and wanting to get this solved.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame the guy. I mean, his son died. He did do an interview on TV.
Yeah.
But it's his son. He's distraught. Whatever.
Yeah.
So,
that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
But yeah, he had actually worked at a strip club. It was actually one of the off of they just bulldozed it recently. It was off 34th and 290. That one that was there
Gold
forever.
Cup.
Was it Gold Cup?
No, it was not Gold Cup. It was off of
4th and 290. I think that is Gold Cup.
No, that's further down.
Oh, he's going to say it. We know them all, folks. We know them all.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, we don't.
Anyway, so yeah,
Most of them.
he actually worked at a strip club.
Okay.
So
wow.
Yeah.
So a lot of connections there, huh?
Yeah.
Man, see stuff like that really kind of freaks me out. It's like, especially when 20 years after the fact, new developments come in. And
it was Gigi's. So Gigi's is the club.
Gigi's Cabaret.
So Gigi's, where the stripper was the 30-year-old guy had killed or raped her.
That's where the dad worked.
So she had worked there, and the dad worked there too.
Oh, okay.
So people started trying to connect all these dots that it may have been, some kind of connection.
That's a big coincidence.
It is. I mean, and it's
if you think about it,
a lot of anger there. But they, chased all the leads at the strip clubs, all the workers. They interviewed who was, frequenting there, and but it was just dead end after dead end. But
man, it just seems like maybe it would be some sort of, I don't know, some sort of hate killing or some sort of revenge killing.
I know it's unbelievable, but I mean, I promised to bring some that were solved. I know it kind of stinks to have some with no closure.
Well, you're a liar, so we can start there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's okay.
But anyway, I look forward to something in the Bayou section to cheer us up.
I've been
dude, you're fucking over there like what? You're like surfing the goddamn net, dude.
I am not.
I think he's on his MySpace account.
What are you doing?
He's updating his song on there. He's changing off the Britney Spears song and putting on. Can I have more beer? Am I the only one drinking beer?
No, go ahead.
I actually kind of
you like it?
Kind of starting to like it a little bit.
It's pretty good. I told you.
Yeah.
So okay.
Tasteful. Well, anyway, No, I think that's it. I mean, I wish there was some closure, like I said, but
no closure.
We'll Lovers Lane murders, man. Look it up. It's pretty. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
What a dick. Anyhow, all right. Sorry. Thanks a lot, Joshua James, and we will be back with the Bayou section right after this.
Hey, everybody, we're back. So, Josh, to pick up on where you were talking about strip clubs and strippers and all those things that you're super into, this is a pretty, relatively new story. I would say it's a cultural shock to the community. Most of you probably heard this or seen this or read this, but I'll just read it. If you have young children at home or you're pregnant or heart condition, please do not listen to this portion. But a judge has ordered a strip club on the North Freeway to close after a laundry list of alleged crimes on their property.
Wait. Sorry, which one?
I'm getting to that.
Okay,
The city of Houston asked Judge Frederica Phillips for a temporary injunction to shut down Fantasy Plaza Cabaret after a string of arrests for crimes that occurred on their property, including prostitution. I know, guys. I did not.
I heard something about this. So
I don't.
Wait. Well, okay. Hold on. This was like an undercover thing, right?
You know what? There's further detail. Yeah, I believe it was. I'm sure it was a series of undercover operations.
I heard it was something.
Look, the strip club is well known to law enforcement in Houston, being called a common nuisance in the complaint. Who do they think they are? This is culture of the city. According to the city's complaint, the owners of Fantasy Plaza are accused of a number of crimes, including. You guys ready for these?
I cannot wait.
Okay. Not having a valid license for sexually oriented business in the city of Houston.
You get a license for that?
I do it every Tuesday.
Yeah. Not requiring all workers to have valid permits for SOB employees.
Wait, you need...
Son of a bitch employees?
Sexually oriented businesses.
Okay.
Failing to keep dancers and entertainers from touching customers. It's a strip club.
Well, they implemented that hula hoop rule. Remember that? That was a big deal when you couldn't get closer than a hula hoop to it.
No, Josh, I don't remember that. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, listen, sorry, real quick, Josh. I haven't been to the strip club in 15 years, but go ahead and lighten this on your perversion.
So I was there last Wednesday at lunch.
Are you still cashing your checks there?
Yeah.
Okay. Failing to keep customers and workers from entering private rooms together. Champagne room. Hello. Duh.
Yeah, so I guess I'm sorry. That's kind of the point of the whole reason.
Yeah, it's like for exposing themselves. Hello, duh.
Yeah.
What is this? Okay, another one. Failing to keep 2 licensed police officers inside and outside the club during business hours.
First of all, everybody knows that they'll just ruin everything.
By the way,
first of all, what cop does not want to stay inside the whole time?
Yeah.
I mean, does he even need to get paid for that job or what?
Okay. Here we go. Failing to have surveillance systems inside and outside the club.
God, I'd love to. Could you imagine watching those surveillance cameras like 24 hours a day?
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Failing to close no later than 2:15 a.m. and remain closed until noon on Sunday. Whoa.
Yeah, this is offensive.
Wait.
What backward worlds do we live in that you can't
know.
go to Fantasy before noon on a Sunday?
Yeah, this is just getting worse and worse.
Failing to close no later than 2:15 and remain closed until 7 a.m. on weekdays. First of all, I like to start my day.
Of course.
Is it because you told me, Josh, where are the best ham and eggs?
Every cabaret in Houston, but particularly Fantasy Cabaret.
Yes. The breakfast buffet.
It was because they do like an omelet there that's to die for.
Yeah.
They
have real Jimmy Dean sausage too.
Is that what it is?
Not that. No, yeah, it's not the imposter stuff that's up at the church.
Yeah, you should try the fish sticks.
Yeah.
Failing to keep files on all independent contractors or entertainers.
Interesting.
Wait, so like they're sheetrock guys?
I know, right?
I guess they're called contractors. Okay, I got you.
Huh.
That's very interesting.
Failing to terminate employees convicted of felony offenses as described in Texas Penal Code.
How are they finding them without convictions?
Wait.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
mean there's strippers who don't have felonies?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I just said. So let's repeat it exactly.
It's
like
like
I said
a unicorn
I'm
without
sorry.
a horn.
I didn't hear you. That is egregious. I cannot believe that's considered a problem. The owners of the property at 8503 North Freeway are accused by officials of leasing property for a sexually oriented business without a valid license. For leasing the property to any bar, nightclub, or restaurant that sells or serve alcohol with a valid license to Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission. Wow. Well, so the property owners are also fined. So they're in.
It's shut down, right? No.
Yeah, they
Is
are.
it shut down? Boy, lots of memories of that.
Guys,
first place
I
ever
have a
went.
confession. I have a confession.
Go ahead.
First strip club I ever went to in my
Me
life.
too.
Really? Yeah, I think so. Me too.
Yeah, I think all three of us have been there together.
Well, I think it was the only one I knew about.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, that was like
it's true.
going to the big city, going there, but.
That's true.
So the one I used to go to when I was, because it wasn't a lot of those places, they weren't always 18 and up, like the really good places, So you would have to you have to troll down to Fantasy North but the other one was called the Riviera, and it was BYOB, and it was fully nude, gentlemen, fully
so
nude.
was Fantasy too.
Cigarette tricks.
Gross.
Cigarette
Gross.
tricks.
Let's not go
But
too much
hey,
around.
shining light here. Earlier this month, Fantasy Plaza's owners filed a lawsuit against the city of Houston, alleging they were losing money to the city's preferential treatment of other clubs.
Yeah.
No surprise there.
Well, so what I heard that the other basically was this. It was this law that was passed, and it was almost as if that they were basically just creating legal means for the other clubs to kind of just look the other way. Or for the cops to look the other way, so they could allow the touching and that sort of thing.
This was an undercover sting operation, right?
No, it was right.
Right.
Well, so actually, if we're going to be serious here,
I don't know how. That's why I read something about it.
Yeah, with all kidding aside and all that, from what I understood too is that they actually the undercover officer got a lap dance from I think like a 16-year-old. So it was, there was some child
wait
type prostitution stuff going on.
Was it a $20 lap dance? Is it?
Anyhow.
Well, here's my thing. Let me just say something here. So, years ago in Houston, they did an undercover sting operation at some massage parlors.
Yeah,
and they went in and they got a massage. And when it got too far, they'd bring in, I guess, the SWAT team or whatever and arrest these people. But my thing is, if that's your job, I mean, how do you go home and sit down at the dinner table with your wife and you're like an undercover cop?
You go very comfortable.
I mean, how can you just imagine your wife's like, hey, how'd your day go? And you're like, I don't want to talk about it. And she's like, no, tell me, how'd your day go? And you're like, look, I don't want to talk about it. And she's like, just tell me. You're like, I was laying butt naked, face down on the table.
Right, exactly.
I mean, how do you just break into that? I mean, I
could you pass the cord?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So
that's a good point, Josh. That is, undercover sting operations at massage parlors. That would probably be in the top 3 dream jobs for most guys. Not really me though. No, it's not my thing.
It's right behind Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
But again, sorry to kind of be on the serious side of this too. A lot of these places, not all of them. I mean, some are fine, clean, well-run establishments, but a lot of them they do involve sex trafficking workers who are there against their will, underage prostitutes. So that stuff they are kind of
probably needed to be shut down.
They are doing let's be honest, they are doing the Lord's work when it comes to that sort of thing. But to take away the one place that is actually a beacon of my young adulthood, how dare they? How dare they? Anyhow.
Well, that's a good story there.
Yeah, that's a really good. Well, yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, you guys are welcome. And again, I apologize for if this was traumatic for anybody. This loss of culture to the city is just another reason that the city is soulless.
Yeah,
soulless.
All right,
cool. So what else you got?
Right now, that is it. Did you have anything else you want to talk about?
No,
I'm good. I think that I'm going to definitely have some stuff for next week.
Okay, good. Yeah. I guess, thanks, everybody, for...
Yeah, hey, guys, check me out on Instagram. Ray Brower 0213. That is Ray Brower 0213. There's going to be some really great stuff coming out.
Is that when Ray was that when you were struck by the train down the back Harlow Road?
No, that's today's date, actually.
Oh, is it?
02013, yes.
Wow. Oh, that's right.
Day before Valentine's. Guys, round table, quick question. What did you get your wives for Valentine's Day?
Oh, she's probably listening to this. Can't tell you.
No, but she won't listen to it tonight.
But thanks for the reminder about this for Valentine's tomorrow.
This won't be released for a couple weeks, so go ahead and just say what you got her. Go ahead.
It is jewelry.
Oh, jewelry?
Yes.
Oh, Josh.
Very specific. Wow.
Dun, dun,
No.
Hey,
no,
girl.
it's
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, hey, girl.
by jewelry I mean going out to dinner and just having a good dinner together.
Ray, ask me.
You mean the family jewels?
Yes.
Ray, go ahead and ask me what I got my wife.
Ralph.
Yo.
And what did you get your wife?
Oh, nothing. Not yet. But I will, because we got a good 6 to 7 hours. So
Before daybreak.
They still have those tents up at Kroger's.
Speaking of tents, that's where I ended up. I bought, I have my niece, my daughter, and my wife.
Yeah.
Bought 3 roses, 3 cards, and 3 boxes of candy.
Interesting.
Bing, bang, boom.
I like
good,
the whole
yeah.
3 rose thing.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's great.
That's
Because
right.
3 dozen roses would have been expensive.
Yeah, I was looking at a table that said they had these all these arrangements, and they said 99 and up. I was like, well, I'm looking down
So,
because I am not spending $99.
funny story. I bought Ashley one time, real quick, a bouquet of flowers from a florist next to the school she teaches at, thinking that they knew what they were doing. I'm like, and they're asking me what I want, what kind of flowers she likes, and I just kind of told them as much as I knew, and I said, put it in an arrangement. Well, then she gets it, and it's like in this disgusting, like, genie bottle, like you would.
Yeah.
It was the most cheesy, plastic, gimmicky. It became a big joke. It was all over Ashley's Instagram.
Man,
all the
that
teachers
sucks.
were laughing about it. They thought I picked it out.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
I didn't. It was just a local. I told them to pick it out, the florist, and they probably were like, "Dude, this guy's going to get the one we haven't sold in like 20 years."
All right, everybody. That's been flower hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, as a little life pro tip, as a guy who's sent a lot of flowers, a guy who's fucked up over and
Girl
over.
bragger. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. No. Just constantly fucking up and trying to apologize. So what I do is I call the florist, and before they put it on that fucking truck, I say, send me a picture of the arrangement. You're gonna send. And then they know they're going to have to make it look nice before they send that fucking picture.
Wow,
and then,
veteran move.
Yeah, exactly. And so when the chick gets it, you make them send the picture too. So you compare the pictures. And so I got this place.
Jesus.
You got a guy. You got a
Nazi?
guy or a girl.
Yeah, and I got
that makes flowers.
dude. I'm telling, dude, if you spend a fucking $100 on flowers, you don't want to get, you don't want to get Josh Jamed over here and have everybody at school make
you've been Broward.
Yeah, you've been just Jamed. Anyhow, all right,
man. Well,
so I think that's it. Yeah.
Until next time, huh?
Yeah. And whatever you do, don't forget to blood in your Bayou. Or don't forget to drink a beer in the Bayou. Don't forget.
You're trying so hard to get a catchphrase, huh?
Just try. Yeah, I'm trying to get some fucking help.
Why don't we do this? I'll sing blood.
Yeah.
I'll sing beer. You sing blood, and you'll sing Bayou, and then we say beer, blood, and Bayou together.
No,
Ready?
that's dumb.
Say beer.
Brother.
No.
All right.
Beer.
Ah.
And then you do
Okay,
blood,
cue the music.
Bayou.
Okay, shut up.
All right.